Do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
What the is that, dude?
G'day, folks. How are ya? Hello from the bus. Although it doesn't really look like it because I've got the background up. But yes, inside the bus tonight. From Canberra this evening. And we finally got here yesterday. Packed a trailer up, mostly. Probably going to have to half unpack it again tomorrow and repack it, but that's another story. And today was a day of mixed successes. Maybe we can say it that way. Before I get into the success or failure part of the day, I would just like to thank from the bottom of my heart Tony Alvarez from the Lake Oberon estate, who drove 3 and a bit hours to help me today here in Canberra with the lights. We have a solution to the light problem, and lights are now working. It was a big job on Tony's behalf, and a great, huge effort for him to come down and help me. So I can't thank him enough. Sorry to drag him away from his family and his beautiful estate for the day. He headed off a couple of hours ago now, so hopefully he'll be home very soon and ready for be tucked up in bed tonight. He'll be a tired boy because he has worked tirelessly, basically from the moment he got here at 11 o'clock this morning until he left. I was able to do some things too, and it wasn't just hand him tools. But by and large, Tony is the man who has fixed the lighting issue that we have. What we have is a temporary fix, and that's about all I can ask for at the moment. A temporary fix, so it'll get us through, but we will have to go through and do a much bigger rewiring job on not just the lights. To give you an example, so the vehicle has a heating system in it. It's a gas operated system that there's a thermostat up on the wall. If you turn it down to off or 0, it doesn't work. You turn it up to whatever heat you want, and it'll start up a little fan, start up the gas furnace thing that heats the air and blows it into here and keeps it quite cozy. In fact, it'll probably kick on here in a minute. And I have no doubt you'll hear it because the fan's a bit squeaky. However, I was lying in bed this morning. I woke up about 6:15 and I was contemplating bailing out of bed and going over to the amenities block and availing myself of all of the amenities, including the laundry. And just as I was about to bound out of bed, the heater started. Right on the dot, in fact, of 6:30, almost like there's a timer to it. But there is no timer in the bus. But the fan started up, and then about 15 seconds later, the heater started up. So I stayed in bed another 5 minutes to give it time to cool, to warm up in here a bit before climbing out, and then started scratching my head as to wondering just how the thing had turned itself on. The thermostat was still set at 0, unless I've got a ghost in here. There may well be, there could be a haunting. Don't know. I've had a few ladies through here with sage and other things, so they've probably had a bad time of it if it is haunted. But wherever the gremlin is hiding, it's in the friggin' electrical system, and there's 72 miles of friggin' cable for it to hide in. So we'll find it. It'll just take a while, and that might mean Vince gets to come to Queensland, and or Vince gets to come to Lake Oberon Estate, like you should. Maybe we can make a week out of it. Who wants to come to Lake Oberon Estate for a week? I think we can put up about 40 people. Maybe that's something we can do. I'll have a talk with Tony about it, see if we can't get a good rate. And if you'd like to come and spend a week with us doing not bus things, we'll leave that to the people who know how to do bus things. But if you'd like to come and maybe have a week of conferences, of seminars, of bit of fun, bit of content making, bit of plan making, then maybe that's something we can arrange. Write that one down, Vince. And Lake Oberon Estate would be the place I would choose to do that, given the magnificent support that Tony has shown me and the program, and helped FBN as well. So if we could give a little back, that would be just awesome. And trust me, you will love the place. I might even be able to convince Cass to come and bring the Mustang. Who knows? There could be a lap of Bathurst in your future at 60 kilometres an hour. But maybe that's something we can work on. I think that would be a pretty cool thing. Dave O was first one in the room tonight. Congratulations, Dave. Trouble with the eyes, mate. I'm very sorry to hear that. You will be, I don't know if happy or sad to hear. I don't know which way this works for you, but very shortly, just a podcast of this show will be put up. So just the audio only, no video, but I'll have to be a little more descriptive in what I'm showing if that is the case, but that's coming up soon. Zab's in. There's a great one. Zab, boom, alakabam Marie. Well, all I can say back to that is eki, 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 fatang. Monty Python people will get that. Still got my sample waiting, mate. I will come over and see you next week when I'm back in Brisbane. You'll have to send me your address again because I'm not sure I wrote it down, but do that and I'll come over next week. I've got a couple of things I'll be doing next week sort of over your way. I can come a little further. It's all good. Sunflowers in the room. How are you, gorgeous lady? I hope things go well with you and your other half. Tim's in the room. Tim, I missed a call from you today. I'm sorry, mate. Today was a bad day to try and get me on the phone for reasons I will show you very shortly. Hello, Dave. Nice to see you and Daniel. Tomorrow, Daniel, I hope you're home. We're going to call past tomorrow. I can't give you a time, unfortunately. I sound like Telstra, don't I? Coming to help you out and fix your phone. Just be there. Don't know when we're going to get there, but just be there. I can't really be more accurate at this stage, and if I had your number, I'd let you know, but I do have your address, so that's a start. I would expect to see us sometime in the morning, if I'm honest. Cass will be bringing me, so you'll get to catch up with us both. That'll be quite cool. We're going to go and do a few errands tomorrow before we depart on Thursday. And Cass's big send-off, I think, is it tomorrow night? Wednesday night, I think it is. That's going to be a good night, folks. The Conspiracy Games. Well, I haven't talked to you about that yet. But the Conspiracy Games coming soon to a venue near you. We're going to trial it tomorrow night or the next night at Cass's send-off. And so far, there are 50 people lined up to come and play. So it's going to be a bit of fun. Oh, God. Well, Brucey, you are a magnificent man. I'm sorry I couldn't see you on the way back. A bit of under pressure to get to Bendigo and all that. Hello to Laura. Hello to Peter. Lovely folks in Maryborough in Victoria, because it's Maryborough in Queensland, but it's Maryborough in Victoria. Keep getting the two. It's like Castlemaine and Castlemaine. There is a difference. Newcastle. There is a difference. So my love back to Laura. My love back to Peter. And, well, you, Cat Weasel. You'll be all right. Stewie, I missed you. You were in Cobram 2 days before I was in Cobram. Mate. Yeah, put chili in here as a hot water bottle. That'll work out all right. But I see your boy made a friend, though, while you were staying in Cobram. So well done. I'm really sorry I missed you, though. And my email was, it wasn't that the email was playing up. It was just simply that I was having a hard time getting to it with everything else that was going on. So unfortunately, when you sent that message on Wednesday, I didn't actually see it. And, well, was it Wednesday? I don't know what day it was. But I didn't get it until the day we were in Cobram, or didn't see it. So that's why I replied then. By that time, I think you'd probably all gone home. Hope things in Pinaroo go well, Pete. I trust that you've got the cropping done and all other good things. Hello, Lydia. Vince is in the house tonight. Nice to have you here, mate. G'day, Jack. Hope things are going well up there at Hill Summit Homestead. And Aussie Sue, God love you. I hope things go well up in your part of the world too. Hopefully not too long. We'll be up your way. Sorry, Bruce. Look, I'm going to get shot for doing this, but I can tell you, Bruce, that you aren't the only cat weasel in my future or past. There's another one. I'll just flash it up quickly. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for that. All right. So let's get into the bullshit that happened with the bus today. Do you want to have a look at what I've been playing with? It hasn't been a lot of fun. Let me see. I'll probably just give you one picture. That is a picture under the dash of the bus, right under the dash, to the left of my knee, if you like. There are some other parts of the dash where some of those wires connect. There are a lot of parts where those wires don't connect and they're just bare wire. Some of them contain power. How do I know? Because I have that graduate pass with the multimeter and I can tell if something's got power in it now. Mostly. Usually. More particularly, I can tell when it hasn't. So I've taped up every loose wire in there that I could find. There must be, and I'm not exaggerating, there must be 5 meters of cable multiplied by at least a dozen times tied up underneath there for various different things. Speaker system for a radio that doesn't work anymore. That blew up on the way to Horsham. We hit a bump, and according to the technical persons in my life, hello Vince, it has blown something called a primary driver. So no tunes. But that's all right. It's not the worst thing. I can put a set of headphones on and crank up the iPad. And now that I trust the way the engine sounds, I don't have to listen to it so much. So yes, we managed to get all the lights working. I do have some other pictures that I have tried to send through, but for some reason they haven't come through here yet. That was of Tony doing a bit of work underneath, and he did spend quite a lot of his day underneath the bus. And what we've actually done is run a new wire. There is a new switch. There is all sorts of new things that have happened. And like I say, it's a temporary fix until we can sort out how we're going to do this. Whether we go back to Tony's place at Lake Oberon Estate and get Vince to come there, or we go up to Queensland and try and convince Tony to come up there. I don't know. I think I know what I'd prefer. I've seen the outlook at the Kennards Storage Centre where I keep the bus in Brisbane, and I can compare that with the Lake Oberon Estate outlook, and I know where I'd prefer to be. So we'll just see what happens. We'll figure something out in the not too distant future. Thank you to everybody who we caught up with in the last couple of days in Albury, in Cobram, and I caught up with a lovely group of people in Yarrawonga on whatever day that was. Days are lost. Today's Monday. Must have been Friday. So lovely to catch up with you guys, or maybe it was Thursday. It might have been Thursday afternoon, was it? I don't know. It doesn't matter. You know the day. And Yarrawonga was alive over the weekend with a powerboat race. So I hope everybody got home safely from that one. Very, very big weekend. Amazing how many people were on the road yesterday. Although not really, I suppose. School holidays coming to a close in some areas. A lot of people heading home. The Hume Highway very busy and full of police. We had an awesome time with Tracy and the crew in Albury. Unfortunately, Cass and I weren't able to get to Wangaratta, and I apologise to the people in Wangaratta who were hoping to catch up with me. We'll make it next time. I'm going to stay a couple of days in Albury, and I'll come through via Wang as well, so we'll be able to catch up. But it was nice to catch up with Tracy and Sharon, who offered me a lymphatic drainage massage. Now, if this is something you would like and you happen to be in the Albury-Wodonga area, Sharon from my place, Albury-Wodonga, is the lady to talk to. In fact, you can talk to Tracy too, but Sharon, I believe, has the full kit, everything required. There was a big lymphatic drainage training session done through my place a few weeks ago, and about 8 people went through that and are now, building their kit, so to speak. They need a bed and they need a few other bits and pieces to be able to do it properly. So I think Sharon's first cab off the rank at the moment. So if you are in Albury or Wodonga or in that area and lymphatic drainage massage appeals to you, I was going to have one, but I ran out of time, unfortunately. And apparently one probably isn't enough. You've got to do it a few times to really start feeling the benefits. At least that's according to the lovely Katrina from Ainsley Bullion, who we caught up with in Albury as well. She's had lymphatic massages a number of times, and of course there were a lot of people at the event in Albury who were telling me about their experience with it too. It does sound tremendous. So if you want to give that a crack, My Place Albury Wodonga, and you're looking for Sharon or Tracy or any of the 6 other people who went through and did the course. Truly great stuff. Also, a small but very, very interested group in Cobram on, the night before. That would make it Thursday, would it? It was a really, really good chat, and it was very intimate because the venue didn't lend itself really to a closed-off area. So rather than taking over a PA and blowing away the entire pub, we moved from table to table. And got to be honest, it was a really lovely way. The show went a bit longer, but it was a really lovely way of doing it. And much more intimate. People got their questions answered right at the time rather than waiting for the end kind of thing. So we got our way through that. And Lou, I'm going to be sending you some X39 patches. In fact, they're too far for me to reach, but your address is tucked away in my wallet, and I'll be sending them to you. Maybe tomorrow I'll find a post office somewhere close and get them off to you. X39, of course, a lot of people that I've caught up with this trip are users of the X39 patches as well. Thank you for the kind words that you bring to me, because I've told you about X39. Look, thank you for that. I'm honoured that you credit me for it. But at the end of the day, I'm just the conduit. Tim Dwyer put me onto these, and Trevor Chatham put him onto them. And if I didn't believe in them, if I hadn't seen them work on people who have no right to be walking very long every day and changing their life, I would probably still be a skeptic. But I'll give you my own personal example. For the last 2 or 3 days, I've been having some real pain in my right elbow, right there, and to a point where I can't hold something tightly without it really hurting in here. And yesterday we were moving pot plants onto the trailer to attempt to get them to Queensland unbroken. And I picked one up in my right hand, and pain shot right up my wrist, or emanated from the elbow down to my wrist and up into my arm. And I felt something pop a little. There was a fair bit of pain after that. I didn't whinge, I'm a bloke. And kept packing the trailer, moved on regardless. Got home last night, in a couple of hours. I've been home a couple of hours, and it was a bit sore. So put a patch on. It's been on about 24 hours now. So here you are if you want to see how these things work, provided I've still got it. No, I must have removed it with my sleeve. I put this jumper on just before I came on, so it's probably rubbed off. But that's where I put it, right there on the point of my elbow. And I couldn't touch it like that at all yesterday. Now, no problem. There is still a little bit of pain, but now the pain seems to be in the back of my arm in here. And it's not pain to a point where I'm, really sore. It's just I can feel it. So I've done nothing else today. I didn't rest this arm at all. In fact, it's had a bit of a bashing around. I've been under the dash, over the dash, through the dash, leaning on stuff that I shouldn't be leaning on. So all I can say is the only thing that's changed is the X39 patch for me, and it's taken the pain out of my elbow. So I know it doesn't work for everybody. God, I wish it worked for everybody. Because it really does pain me when I meet people. And I have met people. I've got to say, not a lot, but I have met people who come to me and say, "Oh, look, I'm really sorry, Carl. The X39 patches don't work for me." And they're sorry. They're sorry to me. They don't have to be sorry to me. I'm sorry they don't work for you, but it's sorry in a general sense, in that, it is what it is. It works for some people. It doesn't for others. And nobody at this point in time, at least, can tell me why, so I can tell you. But it pains me, every time I meet someone who says they haven't worked for me. So all I say to those folks is be consistent with them. Try not to drink too much alcohol while wearing one, because alcohol has a, I was going to say a numbing effect, but it's more a killing effect. That's what alcohol does. It sterilizes, and you don't necessarily need a huge amount of alcohol in your bloodstream to stop the production of the stem cells that the patches generate. So there are a few other things you could probably do to put your body in the best frame to accept it. But look, at the end of the day, it's consistency. Try them for a week. If they don't work for you for a week, then and you've bought a packet, then try them for a month. Try the whole packet. Don't just give it 1 or 2 days. Try the whole packet. I've had just that experience on this trip with a gentleman who came to me and said, yeah, I bought those patches a couple of months ago and they didn't really work for me. I said, oh, yeah. And I started to say how sorry I was for that. And he said, oh, no, hang on. I stopped using them for about 3 weeks, and then I got on them again, he said, and I used them every day until the patches were gone. And he said, and so was the pain at the end of it. And I said, right, has the pain come back? He said, yes, and I've ordered more patches. So when he got off the patches, the pain returned, and I guess he's found his cure, at least to help him through. And it does seem to work for him, thank God. So if it can work for you, I'm rapt for you, and I'm so grateful that you were able to find a solution to your pain. I'm just happy that I was able to help you find it. But please, I take nothing more from it than Tim Dwyer gave them to me, and Trevor Chatham gave them to him. So, and I trust Tim. So I have no problem with it about this time. What about THC, J1? Well, I am in Canberra. You can grow your own THC in Canberra. I must say THC hasn't had the effect on my pain that it could have in the past, put it that way. And the THC is what actually gets one stoned if smoking illegal vegetable matter, although in Canberra I think it is legal. The CBD oil is different. It is a cannabinoid oil, absolutely, but the THC has been taken out of it. So if you're taking CBD oil, odds are we'll have no THC in it. Should I be rubbing THC on it? Maybe. I don't know. Never really known much about THC. You're unfortunately on the disability pension. But how does the taxpayer pay my wages, but then I get taxed as well? Is that legal? I mean, the same dollar's being taxed twice. Zab, I would suggest that you are onto something there, and that is a question for Cass. She will not have a good reason for it, but she may have, from the tax department perspective, a reason from it. You know, we are very fortunate to have Cass Smith as part of what we do here, folks. Her knowledge, and just being on this tour this last week with her, I have learned a great deal about Cass, personally, professionally, and can I tell you, we are blessed to have a lady of her stature and qualification as part of our family, and someone who wants to make the family bigger and determined to make it bigger. We are blessed to have her. Her wealth of knowledge in not just self-managed super funds. Cass spent 11 years working for the Australian Tax Department as a fraud investigator. So she was at the very top of the tax department, investigating the very big and very in-depth and very creative ways that individuals have, and companies for that matter, have not paid tax. She left the tax department, as she says in her talks. If you come to one, you'll hear. She left when she found out of all the corruption inside the Australian taxation department, and she couldn't deal with that anymore. But she was a golden-haired child there. They're the ones who sent her to university, gave her the opportunity to get the degrees and everything else that she's got, and she's got a list of them. And she thanks them for that in her speech. You know, thanks to the tax department, they're the ones who paid for me to go and get all these letters after my name. However, while she's gone and done the course, she didn't take the programming. She is very definitely one of us, and she is a warrior. My God, is she a warrior? She's a Canberra organizer, has been an organizer of some of the biggest rallies here in the past too. Maybe you don't know that about her, but we are blessed. And if you have questions, self-managed super funds, property, and just about anything else, then Cass probably has an answer, particularly when it comes to taxation, tax department, and self-managed super funds, of course. So we are just blessed. The information that I learned while I've been on the road with both Cass and David from Ainslie in Melbourne has been phenomenal. What I've learned about the gold and silver markets, what I've learned from Cass about self-managed super funds, and a lot of great questions from people like you who very rarely, I mean, we get a few of the same questions at the end of the show, but there are always questions that I've never heard before, and that's because everybody's position is slightly different. And so you might already have one or maybe even two or more, if you're lucky, investment properties. Can you roll those over into a self-managed super fund? There are ways and means. What can you buy? What can't you buy? What can you buy and use? What can't you buy and use? Well, what can you buy and not use? There is a whole heap of hoops in that area. And if your money is still in big super, I can tell you that the last 2 weeks, all we have done is push the simple fact that, and shown, able to demonstrate factually with data that the stock market has to crash. Now, is it going to crash tomorrow? Is it going to crash next week or next month? I can't tell you that because it's being artificially propped up by those who have the keys to the money printing machines, particularly in the US, where they're printing $1 trillion a week. $1 trillion. Now, I'm probably going to muck this up, but David from Ainslie used a very interesting analogy to demonstrate how long it would take to get $1 trillion. To get $1 trillion. So to get $1 trillion, and I may misquote him here, but to get $1 trillion and you were earning $1 a day, every day of every week, I beg your pardon, $1 an hour, every day of every week, of every month, of every year, how long would it take for you to get how long would it take for you to get $1 trillion? And the answer is 32,500 years. That's a lot of years, a lot of money. And that's being printed every week in America. In the last 2 years, 40% more money has been printed in the last 2 years than in the entirety of American financial history. 40% more in the last 2 years than the entire print run of printed money in American history. It is not sustainable. The head of the central bank came up before a Senate inquiry in the US and told them it's not sustainable. You have to do more. You've got to rein inflation in. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. They told him that wasn't his business. He needed to go away and just concentrate on interest rates, they'll do the rest. Well, we can see what they're doing, and it's happening here in Australia as well. Now, we're not printing $1 trillion a week. We're printing $1 trillion a year at the moment. And it's going to get more unless this madness stops. Speaking of madness, Albanese's managed to get himself off to Alice Springs tonight, and he's staying overnight. No doubt they'll take him out in a police car surrounded by his personal protection detail. They'll have local elders gathered around him bemoaning the fact that the youth have, just not got enough to do, and that the police are doing what they can. Their hands are tied in many circumstances. What's going to happen? Albanese's going to throw open the safe again, throw another 100 million at it maybe, and get out of town tomorrow morning. I don't understand. When are people going to wake up? I mean, the guy is a clown. Speaking of which, have you seen the latest Pauline Hanson cartoon, the One Nation cartoon? If you haven't seen it, go and see it. It's bloody hilarious. Now, the other day, while in Bendigo, I was nearly run over by the Cafe Locked Out bus. It was an interesting evening. Sorry, I'm just dropping things. It was an interesting evening. We were heading out for dinner, and I let Cass know. She had Michael's number. She gave him a call, and we caught up for breakfast the next day. We had a really good chat, and I walked away with a couple of things. My Cafe Locked Out bracelet and courage. Oops, I'll pull it the other way. Is that no? Other way. Courage is the cure. 832. G'day to all the 832ers floating around. He also gave me this one, which I am very proud to wear, and a badge that says the same thing there. And we started talking about what he's doing. I've been watching Michael for a long time. I know Michael's history. There are a lot of stories that are needing to be told, and there aren't many people capturing them. Michael is the man, as far as I'm concerned, who's doing that, and he meets some amazing people. I just want to draw your attention to one of them. Now, my light might blow this out a little bit, but this is a crocheted butterfly. It's yellow. If I hold it back in, it's just too bright. I might have a darker one here. Let me see if this is better. There you go. That's a little better. It's got blue around the edges. But so a little crocheted butterfly. Now, there is a lady that Michael ran into somewhere who crochets these. That's all she does all day. This is what she does for the freedom movement. And inside the wings, she slips a little note. You pull the note out, and I'll read this to you. This is handwritten, and she has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these that she just gives away to strangers, right? This little note is handwritten. It says, "I hope I gave you a smile. Know someone cares." With a big hearty smile. Now, from what Michael told me, this is a lady who doesn't work, lives in a very little town, has had her rent put up 3 times so far this year, and if they put it up again, she will be living in her car. That is the quote. And yet, while worrying about all of that, she has the time to make the most beautiful little crocheted butterflies and write personal notes to slip into them to give to strangers. That is a story you will see from Michael on Cafe Locked Out. In fact, he's got many stories already that he's put up, shown, and had taken down, because platforms are as hard on him as they are on me, probably harder in some circumstances, I would suggest. So we talked about a few ideas, ways that we might be able to help each other, help everybody else. And tonight, in about 55 minutes, I'll be joining Michael on Cafe Lockdown from 8 o'clock tonight. We're going to have a talk, well, about a few different things. I'm looking forward to it, and I believe there'll be another guest involved as well. So if you feel the urge and you want a little bit more me tonight and a bit of Michael as well, then Cafe Lockdown, 8 o'clock tonight, we'll be doing a live stream there. Now, I feel also quite blessed. Michael gave me the Liberated Artists Culture pack, which, if I can get it into a point where it doesn't flame, there you go. That's what it looks like. Now, it comes in a great tin. This is a USB stick that is a beautiful chrome kind of thing with a beautiful leather flap goes over the top of it. Now, on here are, I think he said 25 different songs, original artists, which is what we're looking for. Original artists, songs to do with the lockdowns, to do with coronavirus, to do with all the bullshit that we've been going on with. Now, I would highly commend you check this out. Some of the music, well, all the music on it's great. Some of it appeals to me in other ways. And the idea with this is pretty cool. You can just download new songs to it anytime you like from these freedom artists. These are unsigned Australian talent. And like I say, bloody good talent. So culture is something we're going to explore further with the Freedom Broadcasting Network. And I'm looking forward to having more chats with Michael about that and his library of interviews, which currently you'd be struggling to probably find all of. Well, we might be able to help him give a home to them and find a way where we can start replaying them and letting others see them for the important documentary evidence that they contain. And that's what it is, folks. And I said this to him over breakfast the other day. His job is as important as the job that certain politicians are doing in the parliament. And that is they are reading the facts as we know them, for the most part, into Hansard. Well, this is similar. Michael speaks to vax-injured people. He speaks to the families, the friends. He speaks to practically anybody who has a story about this horrendous fraud that's been perpetrated upon us and the damage that's been caused to them through it. This is important, historical, documentary evidence of how people were left feeling after they were coerced, bastardized into complying with an unlawful corporation's edicts. So, looking forward to helping with Michael to expand the ideas of a few more people between us and a couple of buses. Who knows where we can go? So it could be a bit of fun. Bring back the women's country clubs, mate. You got to be careful of the CWA. They're just another arm of a certain organisation, Stu. Just be aware of that. Your pomegranate stepfather was prolific at tapestries, Peter. Wow. Tapestries were designed as a history-telling device. They came from ancient times. Every year, every month, and if you really wanted to, every day, you could sew up something that indicated what happened on the day. We could tell a book, almost read it as a history book. I'm not sure that tapestries go that way today, but certainly there was something to do with patchwork quilt covers as well that had to do with history and maybe it was family history I'm thinking about for that one. Stretching my memory now. It's been a long time since I've had to do anything with patchwork quilts. All right. So, what else did I have in here to show you tonight? Now, I want to commend something to you, folks. All right, there may not be too many ladies watching right now who are going to get terribly excited about what I'm about to tell you about. But there will be some ladies who get very excited about what I'm about to show you and offer you. Okay? There will be some men who don't care, wouldn't know the difference, couldn't care less. There will be some men who will start to salivate. Now, hopefully, among you, there is a man and a woman together that think between her excitement and his salivation, you might be able to do something. Well, if you're in the market for a Mustang, might be able to help you. No, Cass is not selling her Mustang, at least not to you. And as soon as I've got money, maybe to me. But I haven't got any money, so it'll probably be to you. But in the meantime, we have a slightly older Mustang for you. Get a load of that. Now, that's my mate Mick's 1969 Coupe. She is a truly stunning piece of kit. He has looked after this car like it was his mother. I kid you not. He could have vacuumed the floor there a bit, Mick, really. Interior, all original left-hand drive, straight out of the States. And she's got like, I don't know, I want to say 50-odd thousand miles on it. He has kept this thing in his garage undercover and only went out with his beautiful wife occasionally to take her for a drive on a nice day. But as you can see, it is in absolutely schmick condition. And he has some spare parts for it. Oh, there you go, 58,342 miles on the clock. That is nothing for what's in it. What's in it? Oh, let's have a look. Does that make you go, It makes me go, It makes me go, There's a few things it makes me go, but yes. That is the engine. Let's have a look what's in it. It's a 302 Windsor. It's got a 650 Holly on it. New distributor, new extractors, new exhaust, new power steering pump, disc brake front end, new petrol tank, new wheels and tyres, replaced old parts with new parts, replaced the rearview mirror, indicator, lever, steering wheel, sun visors, internal door, cards, left and right, doorknobs, chrome strips. It's a T-bar auto, rear tail lights, rear bumper, the dash lights changed to LED to make reading gauges easier. The interior light cover, too many other extras has been done. Serious buyers will not entertain tyre kickers or time wasters. And he won't. Trust me, he won't. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beastly car. So if you are remotely interested and you have, I don't know, 60, 65,000 bucks, you might be able to take home that little gem of a 69 Coupe. Left-hand drive with 58,000 original miles on it. A absolutely stunning example. And I know he and his family really agonized over having to sell this vehicle. It's not something he ever wanted to sell, but I think as times are with many of us, he needs the car space. And you need to have this in your life. God, I need to have this in my life. So if you're interested, email me, carl@vofhq.com, and I will put you in touch with Mick, my mate Mick, and you can talk turkey with him. I think it's a... I think it's a stunning bit of kit, folks. I've been lucky enough to be in it and around it. So, yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful car. So if you are remotely interested in Mustangs and you like a little history, it's not a 65, it's a 69 Coupe with a 302 Windsor in it and a whole heap of new gear. That comes with a whole heap of spares as well, by the way. Let me just try and see if I've got them, any of them. No, I don't think I sucked any. Oh, maybe I did. There you go. It's got some spare tail lights. It's got some. Oh yeah, got a new gear shifter if you so desire it. Yeah, so it's got a whole heap of parts that come with it. None of which seem to be required to be put in to replace it to make it go. Personalized registration too. Wouldn't it? My Coupe would be good, wouldn't it? Wouldn't you like My Coupe on that? I would. So, yeah, if you're interested and you want to get more information on this wee beastie, you can obviously find it on Facebook. And if it's in Marketplace there, and if you can't find it, you don't use Facebook, then by all means email me, carl@vofhq.com, and I will pass you over to him, give you your swap your numbers, so to speak. Yeah, Jack, you and me both, brother. We will be looking for a lottery ticket. Yeah, that's the only way I'm going to wind up with something that cool. That's for sure. Actually, when we came into Canberra yesterday, there were a few hot rods on the streets. But there was a big rally in Canberra yesterday too that I knew nothing about. That was the rally against domestic violence. So the one that Albo, turned up at and decided he'd tell everybody all of his great achievements and then just piss off again. He's a waste of a space, that man. Will Australia have fuel to run it? Yes, by all means it will. And between you, me, and the gatepost, Dusty, I know a person who could probably help you run it on hydrogen, which thankfully is still working here on the bus. We've only working on petrol at the moment, so our mileage is probably a little bit higher than I had have originally got out of it while I was running on LPG. However, it's much more manageable and much better now that we've tightened up the exhaust again on the engine, and the engine's working like it should. So those fuel figures are getting a lot better now that we're not blowing stuff out the side of the motor where it shouldn't go. If you are interested in the hydrogen stuff, of course, Tim is the man to talk to. Tim Dwyer, you can contact him through h2@vofhq.com. The letter H, the number 2 at vofhq.com. He will send you back or ring you and explain all the details. Skipper Pete, God love you, Skipper Pete. Skipper Pete's up in Ingham, and he sent me a video which I haven't sent over from the phone, but it's him in his car showing me his fuel tank, and he's very impressed about how far he's gone and how little fuel he's used, given that he's put the H2 system on his big Land Cruiser. Now, it's been on for a month now, maybe a bit more, and Pete wasn't effervescent in his praise about how much fuel he was saving, but he was getting an extra 100 Ks out of a tank, and he thought that was all right. I thought that a little bit strange, but he thought it was all right, so we didn't think too much more of it. Anyway, he took the car recently into to get a little bit of work done on the front end, and while they were doing that, they checked the wheels and the brakes and found that the brake caliper had seized on the front right-hand corner of the vehicle. When they pulled the wheel off, they found, and the hub, they found that the bearings were so close to collapse it probably wouldn't have got home. So they replaced all of that. Now the wheels spin freely, and lo and behold, without all that resistance coming from the front right-hand corner and front left-hand corner, as it turned out from his car, his mileage has gone through the roof. So he's pretty chuffed. He's looking at 850 plus Ks to a tank, which is quite unheard of for him. And he's towing a very large boat and other bits and pieces, large farm equipment and all that. So he is blown away by it. So if you are in the market for cheaper fuel bills or going further on what you put in there, which is exactly what I get out of this. I get to go further out of this 250 litres. And people might say, oh, you're still not going far. But this tank is about 250 litres large, and I haven't driven it to dead empty, but I suspect I will get over 800 kilometres out of a tank of petrol. I do regularly get 750, and I just don't want to push it to the dregs of what's in the bottom of the tank, because God knows what's living down there, and I don't want to put up in the pickup. So I try and fill it again every time I get to the last quarter of a tank. But I know that last quarter of a tank is good for 200 kilometres, and by that time I've usually done 6. Then I've got the little reserve light that comes on afterwards. So I reckon I'm good for 850 as well. I'm never going to run it dry, Paul. No, I want to keep it well lubricated in that petrol tank, at least until we can tear it out and put something in there and see if it's all full of shit and sludge and God knows whatever else. But and there will be stuff in it. But yeah, it's just filling up 250 litres at $2.37 per litre. It hits you where it hurts. Trust me, really hits you where it hurts. Also, if there are a number of Americans watching the program now and being enthused about it, we're lovely to have you. We have noticed a large influx of American memberships, which we are suspecting are fraudulent. So if we are getting large amounts of Americans watching the show all of a sudden, can you reach out through another means other than the membership portal? Because right now, Vince and I are pretty much of the opinion that somebody's credit cards have been scammed, and they're being fed into us at a great rate, deliberately fed into us. Now, why would they do that, you would ask? Well, there's one real good reason that I can think of, and that is that if we take that $2.50 every fortnight and they leave it going like that for as long as they can until we've built up a pretty reasonable sized debt, then it will be triggered that these are fraudulent deductions, and we will have to repay them as per the agreement with the company that, the Swift or whatever it is that manages the account. Stripe manages the account. We will have to repay every one of those $2.50 amounts, and we will have to pay the Stripe company a fee as well. So we feel like this is potentially being set up to bring us down, to give us a huge cost impost, and make it impossible for us to keep going. They're just going to try and make us pay that bill. Fucking good luck is what I'm going to say. We've advised Stripe that we don't want these accounts coming through. Stripe, I don't think, have any way of stopping them, which is a tad unfortunate, but we've flagged the fact that we're not paying for them, and we will not be repaying them as we've asked for them to be stopped. Now, we can't, well, Stripe tell me they can't stop international payments. Do we really want to stop all international payments? Well, I don't get any money from overseas, as far as I'm aware, except for the last week or so where we've managed to pick up. I'd say Vince would probably have a better idea than me, but we would have close to 60 now, I think, or maybe more, supposedly giving us $2.50 a week, $2.50 a fortnight. I think it is theft by deception, Daniel. I think you're absolutely right. They're setting us up to fall. We're not going to spend any of that $2.50 stuff. We will put all that into a separate account. Cass has been made aware of all of this, of course, and we will split those funds off into a separate account and hang on to them until such time as we get approached, and I'm sure we will get approached. These people who do this must think we are truly stupid individuals or greedy. Maybe they're banking on greed, because they do know we need money and we do ask for your donations. Maybe they just think that, all the Americans have now come to us, which is interesting because I haven't done a show in America now for a couple of months. Well, more than a couple of months. So why all of a sudden we're being heard? Well, Vince does know of a US site that does restream the Voice of Freedom. Maybe we've found a new audience and they've decided to get on board, but I think it's more likely that a company, maybe not dissimilar to the Australian company that tried hacking us a couple of weeks back, has access to stolen credit card information and a name and email address generator. Because it's either the biggest fluke in history that America is finally waking up to the voice of freedom, or we're being had. And you know which way I'm going with it. So, yeah, some interesting times ahead. Good on you, Daniel. Thanks, mate. You just be glad I'm not bringing the V10 around out in front of your house tomorrow then, mate. Just be glad. I'd hate the Ford to, spit some water out of the exhaust pipe onto your grass or anything, Although, I was going to say the 350 in the Mustang probably be all right in this, but it probably wouldn't. It's not big enough. This is a 487 in this thing, V10. So yeah, she's a beast. All right, folks. What's the time? 25 past. I'm going to shoot off and have something to eat before I do Michael's show tonight, which will be lovely. I'm looking forward to catching up with him again. We did have a really good conversation. We discussed a lot of things. Michael is very definitely in an area that I am not, and I'm probably in areas that he is not. That probably makes us a reasonable fit, and we both like logic locks. So yeah, that could be a bit of fun. But 8 o'clock tonight on Cafe Locked Out, me and somebody else coming on with Michael. So looking forward to doing that. What's this one, Richard? We transplanted an American to you, Australia. His name's Guy Holiday. He's a cousin to the famous Doc Holiday. Oh, mate. Well, if that's the case, Richard, I'm happy to have Doc Holiday's relative down here. Be guaranteed he doesn't have a gun. Well, no, you can't guarantee that completely. Some people here have guns, but by and large, the most part, none of us do. Will you put live to your channel? I'm going to try and put it live to my channel. I'm just not sure how I can do it off one laptop. Michael uses StreamYard as well. So I will try and do it. It may, if I do manage it, it'll come through on the Nun2K YouTube channel, and I'll put it up on the Rumble channel as well, if I can get it to happen. So I'll probably use this half an hour to try and figure out how I do that. Otherwise, it'll be on the Cafe Locked Out channel, which at this point in time, I can't tell you where it is. So, yeah. Good on you, J1. Love your work, brother. Love your work. Yes. I've had a few interesting chats about crypto too in the last week or so. Learned a lot from David from Ainsley. Of course, Ainsley Bullion can help you with crypto. In fact, you can use crypto to buy precious metals, or if you have precious metals and want to trade it into crypto, you can do that over the phone. If they hold the gold, obviously, if it's in their storage. And by that means unallocated. You might have bought unallocated stuff and they hold that. Worthwhile checking out. All right. I reckon, yeah, I will post it after the live. Yeah, I'll say something after that for sure, J1. No worries. We are going to be doing something with our media company, and yes, hopefully, it looks like Michael and others will play a role in that. We're trying to facilitate a few meetings, and we did have a few meetings while we were away. It has been very enlightening. Just read the FBN media.online website. We'll have a meeting next Tuesday about that with the developer when I'm back in Brisbane with him, and then I'll probably do a live from that so you can see him, and I'm going to put him on the spot. look at, Cron. The radio station DT is working on at the moment, and while I've been away, he has been both doing his own business and looking after the radio station, getting the music sorted. So hopefully I'll have an update from that over the weekend as well, by the end of this week, and we should know what's going on. Plans. If you're in Canberra, Cass is having her going away. Pretty sure it's not tomorrow night. It's the next night, Wednesday night. It's in a little pub in Colleen. I will get those details. If you are in Canberra and would like to come, we'd love to see you. 50 odd people are booked in to play the conspiracy games, which will be very entertaining. Mick Sims is going to host it, and I'm not sure. I think Mary Jane Liddickett might be playing a role. Cass might be playing a role. God, who knows? I might even end up playing a role. But at any rate, it's going to be a lot of fun, and you'll learn more about the conspiracy games, because trust me, if it works, we're bringing it to a town near you. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. We were working on a different idea, something called Truth or Trivia, answers to the questions you thought you knew the answers to. But conspiracy games might just outshine us for that. So, there you go. Sunflower, thank you so much. That's how you get to get a bit of info on H2, or you can just email Tim direct, h2@vofhq.com. If you go to that website, we won't get a little piece out of it. So if you come through h2@vofhq.com, we will get, I think it's $100 out of whatever the cost of it is. I think it's $3,500 to get the unit installed in your vehicle, to get the unit and have it installed. So I think we get $100 out of that. So if you do that, thank you very much. You know where the $100 goes, given I explained petrol prices to you just a minute ago. That's where everything goes to. Thank you, Sunflower. Absolutely. h2@vofhq.com. All right, folks, love you and leave you tonight. I do have a little something. Did I have a little something to show you on the way out? I don't. I thought I'd loaded it up, but I didn't. That's me being a dickhead. My apologies. All right, folks, be safe on the roads. I have seen in my travels, in the last bit over 2,000 kilometres, many dickheads doing many, many stupid, unbelievable, and at one point I thought technically impossible things in vehicles. Just be aware. They are out there. They are among us. And some of them are driving trucks.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's ride!